This is the Son of the Law podcast. Hey everyone, welcome. Welcome to the Son of the Law podcast. This is your host, Jay Christopher. And before we get started here, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Complete Auto Service in Richmond, Missouri, and Cutting Edge Landscapes in Lawson, Missouri. This episode is brought to you by Complete Auto Service Center. I want to share something close to home, literally. If you're anywhere near Richmond, Missouri, and your vehicle needs attention, there's a place that embodies trust and integrity, Complete Auto Service Center. I've known Mark and Amanda for years, and they make me feel like I'm part of their family. From oil changes to engine replacements, brakes to transmissions, they handle it all with professionalism and care. Their certified techs use quality parts, and they stand behind their work with a 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty. But it's more than just repairs. It's about peace of mind. It's about knowing that your vehicle is in the hands of people who value honesty and excellence. So, if you're seeking a reliable partner for your automotive needs, visit CompleteASC.com or stop by 718 Woolard Boulevard. Let them earn your trust, your business, and your friendship. Complete Auto Service Center. Complete maintenance, complete repairs, complete peace of mind. This episode is brought to you by Cutting Edge Landscapes. I've known Brandon Steffen, the owner of Cutting Edge Landscapes, for over 15 years. We've seen each other through a lot, climbed mountains together, served together, and when it came time to trust someone with my lawn, there was no question. I turned to Brandon and his team. Let me tell you, the difference after just one application was truly incredible. My yard went from weedy and full of dandelions to lush and vibrant. It was green, like really green. Also, I fought the bag system for years, never really seeing the results I wanted, but it has new life now, and that's all thanks to Cutting Edge. Cutting Edge isn't just about landscape projects either. They're about building relationships and treating your property like it's their own. Whether it's fertilization, aeration, or seasonal treatments, they tailor their services to what your lawn truly needs. With over 40 years in the business, Cutting Edge Landscape stands by their motto, "Your property is our passion." And after seeing the results firsthand, I can vouch for that. Visit callcuttingedge.com or 816-580-3343 to schedule your consultation. Your lawn will thank you. I also want to thank you for supporting the show. Y'all are why we do this, and this is what it's all about. Also, remember, during that next awkward conversation pause, think about us. Say, hey, have you listened to the latest episode of the Sound of the Law podcast? You should. Go check it out. You can share the show across all platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or your favorite podcast player. Encourage people to follow the show and turn those notifications on so that you can be ready for the next episode. Reminder, we drop every other Monday at 6 a.m. so that drive to work or never miss a Monday workout can be extra special. Got a little new perspective today for the Son of the Law podcast. We are not coming from my basement home studio. We are here in the lovely home of Phyllis Luster-Hiser-Testrake-Lyon. Hi, Phyllis.
That's a mouthful. Hi, Chris.
Thank you for hosting me today. Thank you for welcoming me into your home. And
you're welcome.
I'm so thrilled to talk with you. We have so much to talk about. First of all, I'd like to just maybe help our audience understand kind of the situation here. We've never met before today.
No.
And that is a new one for me because up until this point, I've had a pretty good familiarity with most of the people that I've had on the show. But here, and this example or this situation, many people know you and love you. And at a recent a party gathering that I was at, they were like, hey, you need to talk to Phyllis. She has an amazing story and you do. So I'm just thrilled that you're willing to meet with me. You are well known and loved by many in your church and your community. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Cherith Weir says that you are one of those people who has walked through so many things, yet you're probably the most humble person who thinks that everything that she's done is not really that big of a deal.
Well, after you walk through it, it really isn't.
Well, I don't know. You know, when you see somebody who's done something that you haven't done, and then they look like they just came out of it stronger, it makes you think you're either weaker or you're going to draw a whole lot of encouragement from that person. Chris Weir says that you are humble, and it was all capitals, HUMBLE. You think before you speak. You're a proper lady who loves the Lord. You're honest with your answers, even if it isn't something that one wants to hear.
Okay.
Does that sound about right?
Perhaps.
There was a line of people recommending that you and I chat, and they recommended that I read a book. And you've got a couple of those books here.
Yeah.
One is Triumph Over Terror, Flight 847.
Mm-hmm.
And that book was basically about John Testrake, your late husband,
Yes.
who was a pilot on Flight 987, TWA.
847.
Excuse me, 847.
It's okay.
And he was held hostage for some 18, 19 days, right?
17 days.
17 days. And while he was held hostage, you were not with him. So
No.
what a terrifying ordeal. And so we get to read the book from his perspective, and then we get to talk about how you all were reunited and just
Yes.
anyway. So I'd love to chat with you about that today. But then there's also another book, The Life and Times of Phyllis Luster-Hiser-Testrake-Lyon. The short version of God's work in one's life.
Chris, I wrote that little booklet for my kids
Did you?
because, kids grow up and it's just mom. They don't realize how much I traveled as a young person, changing schools every year. And it didn't come up.
Right.
So kids needed to know.
Right.
Yeah.
And to the average person who drives by your sleepy little street here in Richmond, Missouri, they would never know such a big personality lives here in this home.
Oh, my.
All right. When the long version, right? The short version is the book. Your life story is actually the long version of it, right?
Yes.
And I'm just so excited to talk with you today and kind of get them firsthand. And it's one thing to read the books, and I did. I was talking with the Weirs, and also, if I don't give credit where it's due, the very first person that told me I should chat with you was Julia Guy.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then it was Sam Weir, and then it was about half a dozen others once, that dam broke. But their families are so dear to me, and
They are to me too.
yeah. Well, and then I started thinking, well, do I have to read a book? And they're like, yeah, here's a book. I'll bring it to you. So I'm like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know how much time I have to read a book. And then once I picked one up, I flew through it. It was just awesome. And then I talked with you a little bit, and you're like, I got another book for you. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not sure about that. So here I am reading another book.
Well,
and
it's a booklet.
It is a booklet. Yeah, I could do it. I did it about a day. So it was awesome. Okay. Can you maybe tell us, and for those of you who are listening, the way I generally prepare for an episode is I'll put together a question set. So I'm not surprising anybody with questions that we're answering, but we don't treat it like a script. There's kind of a roadmap or a guide for how we're going to have the conversation go. So Phyllis is aware of some of the questions that I'm going to ask her, but Phyllis, in relation to everything that we're going to talk about, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe how you were born, raised, maybe your family, how people might know you in the area?
I guess that's when the adventure started. I was born in Portland, Oregon, and it was a long time ago, in 1938. From what I gather from my mother, they moved out there for the work. It was always, always about the work because those years before World War II were difficult to find work. So we were in Portland, Oregon. My parents ran a donut shop.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, I didn't remember any of that. So we were only out there, I think, maybe till I was about 1.5. We moved back to what I call the home base.
Okay.
In Pekin, Illinois. Always back to Pekin.
P-E-C-A-N?
P-E-K-I-N.
P-E-K-I-N. Okay.
It's just across the river from Peoria.
All right.
So we always moved back there. But I changed schools in first grade, in second grade, in third grade. We moved from Pekin to various places.
Really?
Knoxville, Tennessee. My dad worked there on the Manhattan Project.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Then we moved to...
No, I got to pump the brakes there. This is the type of thing that Cherith is warning us about. You just said that your father worked on the Manhattan Project.
Yes.
That's a big thing, and you just kind of glanced right by it. So, what was he doing on the Manhattan Project?
I was only 7.
Okay.
I don't really know.
So you just know he went to work and he came home
and we lived on sort of a base, like a military base, but it wasn't quite. I mean, we weren't in the military.
I'm very familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had to have picture ID to come and go off the base. My mother did, and of course, myself and my cousin Billy, we drew pictures.
Right.
And we would hold them up to the window. We wanted
They're like,
to be
yep, that's me. That's me.
We wanted to be part of it.
Yeah, as I understand it, the way that they encouraged the top minds and scientists of the day to participate in this very top secret program was to allow them to bring their families with them.
Yeah.
So you were in one of those super secret squirrel compounds while your dad got to work on a portion of the Manhattan Project.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And that was a wonderful 2-year job that my dad had.
I'm sure.
He didn't get in on the beginning, but it was a good job.
Wow.
And that's when all the rationing was going on, and we had coupons to get sugar and coupons to get coffee. And it was just a different phase of life that I've never experienced since.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you were in that base housing for a couple of years, and then where'd you go?
Oh, I think then it was probably Anderson, Indiana, and back to Pekin. And my high school years were in Terre Haute for half a year.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved to Perry, New York, and that's when I was freshman. We stayed, that's just south of Buffalo.
Okay.
And we were there a couple of winters, and talk about snow.
And once again, this is all following your dad's work.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, all of it. Then it was, I can't remember, Chris. It's just too many cities. I graduated from high school in Detroit.
Okay.
And just one adventure after another with my parents.
Detroit is when you were there, was a booming, beautiful city. As I understand, at one time it was the 3rd wealthiest city in the entire world.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We were not among the wealthiest.
That's all right. That's all right. My goodness. Okay, and then you found your way back to Richmond, and just through your little booklet. I mean, you spent time at Table Rock Lake. You lived in Independence for a while, I think, or Blue Springs, one of the two. Blue Springs.
That was recently.
Yeah, and found your way back to Richmond, and here you are.
Yes.
Terrific.
Yes.
So we got to know you a little bit in that way. Can I throw some rapid fire questions
Sure.
at you to get you to know you in a little other way?
Yeah.
What's the band's best dance move you ever mastered when you were coming up?
That would be probably nobody's ever heard of it today. It was called the Lindy Hop.
The Lindy Hop.
Yes.
All right. Circa what decade are we talking about for the Lindy Hop?
This was in the 50s.
In the 50s. All right. So
I graduated high school in 56.
okay. Is that poodle skirt type stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right. That's awesome. And what modern invention makes you roll your eyes the most?
Well, it isn't exactly a modern, I guess it is a modern invention, but I'm astounded by how much time people are on their devices.
Okay.
And I'm one of them too. I'm
Right.
hooked on my tablet. I can't even believe it myself.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
It's
is.
like the average person is trying to fight a multi-billion-dollar machine.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult
Absolutely.
to win that one.
Yep.
What is the secret to putting up with people who talk too much?
Well, I usually say something like, I have an opinion about that. Or I just kind of interject myself if somebody that's just rattling on.
Yeah. Just step right on in there.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. And if you could give your 30-year-old self one sassy piece of advice, what would it be? And we're talking your 30-year-old self, born in 30. You weren't born in 38, were you?
Yes, I
okay.
was.
Born in 38, 48, 58, 68. So we're talking late 60s, 30-year-old you. What would you say?
I would say, think before you act.
Okay. It sounds like a knowing bit of advice.
Well, I was, as a young woman, I was a little bit impulsive, maybe.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And it's funny how age tempers us, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Slows you down a little bit, helps you think.
Absolutely.
Good once as I ever was, right? But we can't keep running the way we did.
That's right.
All right. Phyllis, you opened your story with the early years of life in the Luster family. What early memories shaped your worldview?
Well, I was not raised in a Christian home. We were good people. My dad had a wonderful work ethic. Even though we had to move, it was always about the work. And I just lived with that. That's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
We also lived with Grandma and Grandpa Luster in the same house, everybody together. I guess that wasn't that uncommon.
No, generational homes were a
Yeah.
wonderful thing.
And one of the things I remember vividly was my grandpa needing absolute quiet. And there was just me. I wasn't a noisy kid. But silence. When Walter Winchell would come on the air and he would say, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all the ships at sea." I just remember that was my signal to hush.
Yep. Quiet down. Wow. So it was just you. You is what
For
you
a long
said
time.
for a long time.
Yes.
Did you have any brothers or sisters?
I had a baby sister.
Okay.
She was 2 years younger than me, and she died at age 4.
Oh my.
I think it was a brain tumor,
Mm-hmm.
but at 4, I wasn't
Sure.
quite tuned in, and Mom didn't really talk about it a lot.
Sure. That's a long time ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What was life like growing up in your maiden family? I say your maiden, like maiden name, the Luster household.
Yeah.
Any formative lessons or funny moments?
Oh, mostly it was life with Grandma and Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma She was about the closest thing to being a Christian. I guess she probably was.
Mm-hmm.
But she taught me my nighttime prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep.
Really?
And then after we would say the prayer, because I was a kid that never wanted to go to bed, she would say, now you need to say your God blesses.
Okay.
Well, what are my God blesses, Grandma?
Right. That's what I was going to ask you. What are your God blesses?
She said, well, you need to ask God to bless all the people you love. Well, that was...
It's a long list.
Oh, my goodness. That was wonderful. I made up people just so I didn't have to go to sleep.
Oh, wow. And then when you get done, you need to go to the bathroom, you get a drink of water.
all of that.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Was there a pivotal moment that deepened your conviction to share your life story? Because you've come through a lot of this. And, I mean...
Well, honestly, sharing that little booklet... It was for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so they'd know that what my life was, because it certainly wasn't the usual upbringing and teenage years and working in Manhattan at one point. And that isn't something everybody does.
No, it's not.
And I realized that.
Well, and that's interesting because, we've got 4 kids of our own. Mm-hmm. And my observation is that they are trying so hard to grow up, and they're not selfish, but they're not also able to be as aware of everything that mom and dad are up to, So, yeah, I mean, what you're saying is great because you're making yourself known to your kids in a way that you can reveal that to them when they're ready. Right. Wonderful.
Right.
It's wonderful. Okay. One of the things I took from there, and I'm just thinking this is the type of person we're dealing with here. You forged a letter from the State Conservation Office.
I did.
And that did not seem like it was the type of thing that I would expect someone like you to do. So what compelled you to take that bold step?
My first husband desperately wanted to be a conservation agent. Mm-hmm. That was his dream. So he took the test. I think it was about 1965, and he did not pass. And he was very disheartened. Took it again in 67 and did not pass. And so I read this announcement in the paper that they were giving a test in 68. Well, I'm not doing that again. I said, but honey, this is what you want to do. It's your lifelong dream. And he was discouraged. He wasn't going to hear of it. So I said, now you know what the questions are, basically. You're going to go down there. You're going to pass it with flying colors. No.
Not doing it.
Not doing it. So I remembered the other letters that he got. And I just copied those letters and pretended it was from the conservation department saying, and all the letter said was, we are giving the exam for conservation agent in Jefferson City on such and such a date. And that's all it was. Same thing that was in the paper.
So you didn't forge the letter and send it to the conservation agency.
No. I sent it to him.
You forwarded it.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think of how sneaky you had to be to make that letter, make it look right, and then go find somewhere to mail it back to the house.
I'm a firm believer in wives should please their husbands.
Oh, what a blessing. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So he took the test, he passed the test, and here I am in Richmond, Missouri.
How about that? Yeah. So then for many years, he was a conservation agent in the state of Missouri.
In Ray County.
Yes. Working for the Missouri Department of Conservation, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And what was his job?
He was conservation agent.
Okay. Just roaming the areas of what do they do? Do they check licenses, hunting tags, permits?
They check licenses, which is a little disconcerting in hunting season because everybody has a gun. Mm-hmm. But they also do things like count the rabbit population. And they have to go out on a certain route that the state has figured out and count how many rabbits they see at 5 a.m.
Okay.
or whatever. And then they send that back to the state.
Oh,
That kind of thing.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can think of so many fun ways to mess with somebody like that. You rabbit counting son of a gun, you. That's great. And meanwhile, you pursued your degree while your children were in school.
Yes.
How did you do that?
Again, it was about pleasing somebody. My dad said years ago, before I was married, and I went to college 2 years before I was married.
Where'd you go to school?
Millikan University in Decatur, Illinois.
Okay.
So he said, you can be a nurse, or you can be a secretary, or you can be a teacher. Because back in the day, those were
the professions, yeah?
Yeah. And so I was not interested in nursing. I couldn't even do a Band-Aid. So, and I didn't want to be a secretary, so I thought, okay, I can teach.
Okay.
So I'd been to a lot of schools with a lot of teachers. So that's what I did.
So you went to school for 2 years, got a teaching degree,
No,
certificate?
No.
Okay.
2 years of college. And then I got married. I had kids. I got caught up in all the motherhood thing.
Sure.
And when all the kids were in school, to please my dad graduated from high school, or didn't graduate from high school, but quit when he was 15
Really?
to go to work. Yeah.
My goodness.
At any rate, to please my dad, I went back to school 2 years. I commuted from Richmond to Warrensburg every day. And
Richmond to Warrensburg is a hike.
it takes about 50 minutes.
Yeah. And I was thinking, just from reading the book, if I recall, you went with other ladies, right?
Yes. There were 5 of us.
5 of you. So you carpooled, everybody drove one of the days.
Yep.
And then you left after everybody went, right?
All of us scheduled our classes so we could send our kids off to school and be home before they were.
Wow.
So our classes at Warrensburg started at 9 and they were over by 2.
Okay.
So
you get the kids off the bus or get on the bus.
Yep.
Get them out the door.
Exactly.
You guys get in the car. You drive. You must have really developed some deep relationships with those ladies
Absolutely.
in those few years.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Yeah. And were they all as successful as you were with graduating and whatnot?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. That's wonderful. What did it mean to you to complete your degree under those circumstances?
Oh, it was an achievement. I was very proud of myself. My dad was proud.
I was going to say, was he around when was he still alive when you completed it?
Yes, he was still living.
And does that make you the first in your family line to have a degree?
Absolutely.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And what year would that have been? Would that have been the 60s?
I graduated in, it was 60. Oh, gosh, Chris.
Yeah. But it would have been in the 60s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I taught school for 7 years.
Okay. Well, here in Richmond?
Yes.
Wow. So you've been in Richmond a long time.
Well, I moved away
and
then back.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's talk about your first, second, and third marriages. That is something that, I don't want to dig deep here. I don't want to pry. I don't want to do anything like that. But it is part of your story. You wrote about it, right?
Yes.
So if you're comfortable, each of your 3 marriages played a part in your story. So that's where we get Phyllis Luster, maiden name, Hiser, first husband, Testrake, John, second husband, and then John Lyon, third husband.
That's correct.
Okay. Can you reflect maybe on the transitions and what each chapter, each season of your life taught you?
Well, yes. My first marriage was wonderful for 17 out of 18 years. when it went bad, it was very, very bad.
Mm.
That's when I had my children, of course. That's when I went back to school. I was busy mother. My kids bowled on Saturday morning. They had Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and Brownie Scouts, all of it. So I was busy. They played Little League ball. And like I said, it was a good marriage until it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a case of infidelity, and I could not live with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to get divorced.
Yeah.
But I really think God was in that, Chris.
Mm.
The first morning my husband moved out of the house, of course, I was devastated. I honestly think divorce is one of the most heartbreaking things a woman can go through.
Mm.
There is all of this guilt from what could I have done better? What was I not good enough?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a devastating thing. But after he moved out, I was just more or less propelled to go to church the next Sunday. We never went to church, although I was saved at 17.
Mm-hmm.
But my kids, I regret this deeply, they were not raised in what I would call a Christian home.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, I went to church that first Sunday after he moved out, and lo and behold, I knew the young man that was the greeter, and I was just chatting with him. And in the front door comes this man that I've never seen before, and my friend said, "Oh, Phyllis, you need to meet Captain Testrake." And I said, "Okay."
All right, yeah.
So he walked over and Bruce introduced us, and I just said something passing in time of day, and I walked in the sanctuary, and then he came in later, and in the same pew, but I was at the extreme right end, and he was at the extreme left end, so there was a big space between us. I didn't think anything about it.
Yeah.
I went home, went back to church the next Sunday without my children. They were, like I told you, they were not raised in the church.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, they were 14, 16, 17. They were not really interested in going, and I
they
was
get their own mind, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And at any rate, I kept going to church, and he kept going to church. And he would come closer to me in the pew. And so about, 3 or 4 weeks later, he asked if I would be interested in going out to eat. Chris, this was not on my radar at all.
I was gonna say, just counting the weeks and just the few details you've revealed. It's also very, very soon after your
Very
divorce.
soon.
Yeah, like maybe a month or two.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
And it just progressed from there, and we were actually married 6 months later.
Oh my!
I know. He swept me off my feet.
Wow. Well, reading many of the stories that he tells in the Flight 847 book, and your book that you wrote later, you had to be very careful saying something that you were you liked or didn't like, because you never know when.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Say, "Oh, I like that," and then the next week or two, it would just miraculously show up around the house.
Exactly. Oh, and it was big stuff. I just offhandedly said one day about a convertible.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, that looks so fun. Somebody riding around in a convertible." That's it. I mean, So I was having a birthday shortly after that, and lo and behold, I had a convertible.
How about that?
Exactly. Exactly. It was that's how life was with him.
Wow. And then, how long were you married to Captain Testrake?
My first marriage was 18 years. My second marriage was, I think it was 20. Yes, 20. And my third marriage was 20.
Okay. And then John Testrake, he passed away. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that cancer?
He died from cancer.
Okay. And then and then John Lyon enters the picture after John Testrake. How did that happen?
Well, John Testrake and I we changed churches. We went to this Christian Fellowship Ministry. And, well, actually, it wasn't called that at the time. That's another story. But we went there and we met my Pastor Brian Guy, who's still a very dear friend, and his wife, Deanna.
He's a good man.
Very good, yes. So we started going there in 1977, as soon as we got married. And then John and Jean Lyon were going there as well, and we met them right away. So I knew John Lyon the whole time I was married to John Testrake. We had these fellowship groups in our home, and we hosted, because John was flying and he wasn't always there, but the house was and I was.
Yeah.
And so we hosted, and John Lyon was the leader. So I had a very deep relationship with John and Jean.
And you hosted the small group at your house?
Yes.
This is the proverbial farm that
Yes, that's
Testrake
right.
talks about in his book? Okay.
The farm, however, is only 1.5 miles from the highway.
Oh, really?
So it's not a difficult thing to get to.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And then you were married to John Lyon for 20 years?
Yes.
Or, yeah, I think you said 20 years.
Yes.
And he recently passed?
Yes, 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Can you maybe reflect on each transition and what each chapter taught you?
Well, of course, the first chapter taught me how to be a good wife. And it was a heritage, I think, from my mother. I observed Mom and Dad working out things. I think my marriage was a lot like theirs. So I always tried to be a submissive wife.
What does that mean? What does it mean to be? Because that's a hot word right now.
Yes.
You say submissive,
and people tend to think you're just kind of a pushover. I don't think I was a pushover. I did always try to please my husband when I could. Just in whatever way. Writing a forged letter. I mean...
That's legendary. That is fantastic.
But, yeah, I think wives should do those things to further their husbands or please them in whatever way.
Wonderful. Interesting. All right. So you learned that submissiveness, you learned that from your first husband.
Yes.
And you transitioned there.
And then I was married to the captain. And as you might assume, captains are pretty much in charge. But I had that submissive thing down pat. So we didn't really have any great disputes. I did learn to fly when I was married with him.
Yes,
to him.
that's a question I had down below. How did you get to the point where that was something that you wanted to do?
Well, John Testrake and I flew every year, not every year, several years, to Oshkosh to the experimental aircraft show.
Okay.
And it's a week long, and people that come there stay at the University of Wisconsin dorm.
Mm-hmm.
And we flew our little plane up there, and we just had a good time. There were exhibition tents where the guys would all flock to see how to put a motor together or whatever they did. I didn't get into that.
Yeah.
And then there was an air show every day, and Warbirds, the military aircraft show.
Yep.
It was just fun, even though I wasn't a pilot. But one year, I was just tired. It was about our fourth day, and I was
done.
I was over it. Yeah. So John still wanted to look. He met a buddy up there, and they wanted to look at a certain airplane. And they had a lot of home builds,
mm-hmm.
which we never got into. But anyway, I said, John, I'm going to just go in the back of this tent. I don't know what the seminar is going to be, but I'm just going to put my feet up and relax.
Yeah.
He said, okay, I'll come back in an hour and a half or so. Well, the guy that was doing the forum in that tent was an FAA guy.
Okay.
And he got up there and he said, first thing out of his mouth, what would you do if your pilot became incapacitated and you had to land the plane? And I thought, oh my gosh.
I'd freak out and I'd cry, and then I'd probably die with him.
There you go. Exactly, Chris. Well, he got my attention. And by the time the 2-hour seminar was over, John was waiting for me, and he heard kind of the end of it. And I came out of there, and I said, John, I want to take flying lessons. It was that quick.
That quick.
The FAA guy was so charismatic and so involved his audience so much in what he had to say, at least me.
Sure.
So I just came home, and within 48 hours, I was taking flight school.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you, I don't even know how one would go about getting a pilot's license.
Back then, this was in, I guess this would have been about 1980. We kept our plane at Lexington Airport, which is just still in Ray County, but at any rate, we kept our plane there, and there's always an instructor, usually an instructor, hanging around these little airports. So we went down there, and John talked to him. I didn't get in on that conversation, but he said, I know somebody that does ground school, and you really should take your ground school before you take your flying lessons.
What is a ground school?
Ground school is learning all the ins and outs of the regulations, what the airplane does, density, altitude, a lot of technical jargon. It was a difficult school, but look who I had for a sidekick to answer all my questions at home.
Yeah, you guys, and he probably loved talking to you about it.
Oh, absolutely, the technical stuff. So I took my written exam and down at downtown airport in Kansas City and passed it with flying colors. But I had not yet been behind the yoke of the airplane.
Okay.
So then we got hooked up with a lady instructor whose husband also worked at TWA. He was a pilot. John didn't know them before. They lived in Missouri City, but she flew out of Lexington.
Okay.
So she was great. two ladies in an airplane. She was
Yeah.
the instructor. She had actually been a crop duster in Texas before she got married.
Those people are crazy.
Oh, yeah. But they can fly a plane.
Flat fly it, man. I mean,
Yes.
it's incredible to watch those things go. They
Exactly.
hit the end of the runway or hit the end of the field and turn the stuff off and shoot straight in the air.
Exactly.
And, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
We didn't do that. But I did have my lessons from her, and I would not recommend start flying when you're 40 years old or
Really?
38. No. Be an 18-year-old gung-ho person.
Okay.
I think you could probably do it in 2 months.
Yeah.
It took me about 4,
Okay.
just because I was over that, that young gung-ho, get after it stage.
Yeah. A little more careful.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had no exciting times in the air, and that was wonderful. But she was thorough.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you actually shortly thereafter, I forget how it went in the book. You actually flew yourself somewhere, didn't you?
You have to do that.
Okay.
Yes. I can't think.
I think it was, I don't know. I don't know if it was 987 or 847 or the other book that you wrote, but it was
yes.
Yeah, it was like he was going to go somewhere. I think he was going to go back up to that thing, and you wanted to go somewhere else, and he's like, "Why don't you just go?"
Yeah.
So you went somewhere else.
This was my test flight, and it's three legs,
okay.
3 different places. So I started in Lexington, and the first leg was to Joplin.
That's a good way.
It's a good distance. And I had never flown into an airport where there was a tower, because Lexington Airport's just podunk.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah. They don't have a tower, and the rule is see and be seen.
Okay.
But in Joplin, there was a tower, and I was I did my downward and my base leg, and I was ready to land. But there was a jet that came in after me, and he was, my call numbers were 97 kilo, and the tower said, "Keep your speed up, 97 kilo. Keep your speed up." And so I didn't know until later there was a jet behind me.
Coming down.
So
I landed. What were you in?
Oh, I was in our Navion, our little plane.
I don't know what that is. It's like a Cessna?
Yes,
Okay.
like a Cessna, but of course my husband thought better than a Cessna. So
everybody's got their preferences.
Exactly.
On gear.
Ford or a Chevy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are you a Ford or a Chevy? Was he a Ford or a Chevy man?
Well, he was a Ford man.
Okay.
Because in Richmond, we had a Ford dealership.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
My other husband was a Chevy man.
Oh, my goodness.
I have learned to flow with whatever my husband liked.
Doesn't matter. As long as it gets me where I need to go.
Exactly. Either a Navion or a Ford or a Chevy.
Oh, that's great.
So, where were we?
Well, we were talking about your decision to fly somewhere, and they were telling you to keep your speed up,
Yes.
and you got this.
So
jet flying down on you.
I landed there safely, and I wrote in my logbook, and I had to have it signed by whoever was in charge. So then I had to go on the second leg of this journey, which was to Emporia, Kansas.
Okay.
From Joplin to Emporia.
That's just across the state line, not so far away. No? Is it?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm on that leg of this journey, and Emporia is not a big airport, so that was uneventful. However, when I was going there, I heard this voice saying, "How are you doing down there?" I was in the air.
Yeah.
And on the radio, "How are you doing down there?" And I thought, what?
Yeah.
It was John.
How was he above you?
He was flying a flight from St. Louis to Texas someplace. And he was above me.
Oh, my
And he
gosh.
knew my schedule to a T. He
knew-
knew when I would be in the air.
He knew right where you were
Oh, my
at.
gosh, it almost gave me a heart attack. I said, don't do this to me, John. So
That's awesome.
yes, it was awesome. It was awesome. So I landed at Emporia uneventful. From there, I flew back to Lexington. It was a very good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was what you needed to get
complete
your license? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And you got it.
Yes.
And then after you flew to the thing, how often did you use it after that point? Or was that just kind of like the notch in your belt? You were done?
Oh, no.
Done with it? Or
no.
you used it pretty frequently?
I flew. John kind of wanted me to fly in our little plane. So I sat in the left seat, the captain's seat. He sat in the right. And we flew a lot of places. My longest, most interesting flight perhaps was from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
And it was considered an international flight.
Okay.
So I had to talk to the Fort Lauderdale tower, handed me off to the Bahamian tower, and I had to follow their instructions.
Okay.
It was a learning.
Certainly. And then you're flying over water the entire time.
Yes.
That's got to be a bit unnerving.
Yes,
Yeah?
all of the above,
Oh, man.
but I had the captain.
Right. And then you also landed and you were in the Bahamas. Like, that sounds amazing.
Yes, well, it was.
That sounds awesome. Okay, so your season of marriage to your first husband, transition to life with Mr. Testrake, and then you were maybe reflect on the transition to Lyon and then that next season of your life.
Well, I had known John and Jean for 20 years. Jean died of cancer. I guess about 2 years before John died. John Testrake died of cancer as well. We were living in St. Joe, and John Lyon's sister lived in St. Joe, so he would go up there occasionally. And he was good friends with John Testrake. And he would stop by and visit with him, but John was really sick. So after John Testrake died, I was there in St. Joe, not really. I had a daughter, my daughter lived there, but I really wanted to move back to Lee's Summit because that's where my mom lived. She was still living. I had two brothers that lived in Lee's Summit, so I decided to move back, and Cindy, my daughter, moved to back to Lee's Summit as well. So it was like family town. And by that time, John Lyon was living in North Kansas City. So I moved into this new duplex, and I had to have pictures hung, and I had to have mirrors hung, and I had to have all the stuff. So he would come and help me. And he also did some rewiring on my kitchen, top of my kitchen cabinets. He put lighting. So we stayed friends. But one night he called, and we talked on the phone for 2 hours, and I am not really a phone talker for that long. And at the end of 2 hours, he said, "Well, are you hungry?" Well, it was 8 o'clock at night. I was hungry.
Oh, yeah.
So he said, why don't we meet halfway? Because he was in Gladstone, I was in Lee's Summit. Why don't we meet halfway and have a bite? So we did, and he didn't sit across from me at the restaurant. He sat next to me in the booth. And I thought, now this is a little different.
Yeah.
So
got cozy.
very cozy, yes. So 8 months later, we were married.
How about that?
Yeah.
And you all had a wonderful marriage in the sense, well, many senses, I'm sure, but life at the lake. You spent a lot of time at the lake.
Yes.
Down on Table Rock, canoeing with the family. I mean, you really did a
Absolutely.
lot of activities.
We did.
Around here.
Yes. We built a house in Pleasant Hill, actually. And we had friends that would go every weekend to Table Rock. And so we'd go down there and we'd camp. We'd tent camp. And it was fun, but we were getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping on the ground was not fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of talked about maybe we should get an RV or something more comfortable than this tent. And then we always looked around down at the lake, and we wandered down this one road, and there were new cabins being built. And we had just built a house. But I said, John, maybe we need to just buy a little cabin. And he said, yeah, that might be good. We seem to spend a lot of time down here. Well, as it turned out, we built the cabin, and we were spending more time in the cabin than we were in the new house.
Oh, boy.
So then the kids kind of wanted to come down to the cabin. So we got we had the cabin built.
Mm-hmm.
We got the builder, and we said, hey, we're going to need to increase the square footage here. And the builder said, do you want to go out or do you want to go up? And we thought, well, we better go up because that's probably the most cost effective. Yes. Mm-hmm. So we ended up selling the new house after 6 years, and we moved full-time to Table Rock Lake.
And that house you built down there was a monster. You said it will sleep 17?
Well, yes, it slept 17. But not in beds, not all in beds. No.
Okay. It was cozy.
Yes. We had a living room couch that made into a bed. We had 2 bedrooms, and then we had a loft area that slept 5 or 6 or 7 kids on sleeping bags.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
That's awesome. You had these annual float trips, right?
Yes, we did.
And
that was with the Lyon kids.
Okay. And then what was your favorite trip, and who earned the title Queen King of the Float?
I think we discussed it one weekend when they were here, when they were down there. We need to plan some kind of a float trip. And Rob, John's oldest son, stepped up and he said, I've got it. And he planned the trip. He ordered how many canoes we would need, which kids could have a canoe on their own or with one of the other cousins.
Yep.
It took some planning. And then that was just a one-day float trip. We would come back and sleep at the cabin. And then there were the evening meals. There were the breakfasts, all the things for like a 3-day weekend. Mm-hmm. So we assigned certain meals to certain families, so I didn't have to do all the cooking. But John did all the breakfasts, and we had these, 10 grandchildren, and we put them into groups, mostly for sleeping. We had the littles, which were the young ones, the middles, and the bigs. And they operated that way with the canoes and with sleeping and like
you got to break them up somehow.
You do.
You can't put 10 in everything. So I got the littles this time, or I'll take the middles.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good bonding time.
What was Queen King of the Float?
Oh, Rob had to be.
Okay.
Because he was the organizer and he did a lot.
Very good.
Yeah.
With respect to your families, and, again, thinking across so many different years, decades.
Yes.
What are you most proud of in your legacy through your family?
Oh, my. I think probably, I think I exhibited being a good wife. I hope the girls picked that up. I think I was a good hostess. At one point, not with all of them, but with some, I made sure they did their prayers at night. One of my granddaughters came and stayed with me a few days, or with us. And I would tuck her into bed and teach her like Grandma taught me. Well, then the next couple of years later, she came again, and she's going upstairs to the bedroom. And I said, Lily, can you do your prayers by yourself? Yes, Grandma, and I won't forget my God blesses. So maybe that's what I passed on. Nothing very profound.
I think that is profound. That's legacy, right? I mean, that's the type of stuff that will go on to the next generation.
It's the type of stuff I remembered.
Yeah. And those are the types of memories that you fire into the future that you'll never see, which is awesome. That's awesome. In your book, you saved the best for last. You have your faith testimony.
Yes.
When did you know that God was working in your life in that way?
My dad was very strict with me as far as who I could see and when I could date. And I was a little frivolous when I was a teenager. I didn't always exhibit common sense. So he would pretty much let me go to church with any of my girlfriends. And I wasn't so hung up on going to church as much as I was just wanting to be with my friends. So I kept going with this girl in Detroit. I was 17. And we went 2 or 3 Sundays, and then the church had a revival. And we went to that. And I'm telling you, Chris, at one point during the invitation, God propelled me down that aisle.
Really?
It was like I wasn't in charge of myself.
Wow.
I had to go and respond to the Lord. And I did.
Wow.
So that was a good thing.
Certainly.
But after, I didn't really tell my parents. I wasn't raised that way. I had Grandma, though. And this, you have to remember, this is way back. This was in the 50s. Grandma lived in Illinois. I lived in Detroit. So I wrote her a letter, and I told her that I was now a child of God. And she wrote back, and my dad saw this letter come in the mail that Grandma wrote to me, and it had her return address. He says, "What's Grandma writing to you about?" I said, I don't know, Dad. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Cat's coming out of that bag.
Yes. So she was just encouraging me. But a few weeks later, this nagging thought came to me of how don't you think you're just something special? Don't you think you're just special because you think you know God? And planting this doubt in my mind. And of course, like I said, I didn't talk it over with my parents. And Grandma was far away. But I went to bed that night, and about middle of the night, 2 or 3 a.m., I was awakened. I don't know how. And there was a vision in the corner of my room, and it was Jesus. And he did not speak, but that vision was there, and it was as if he said, "You are a child of mine."
Wow.
I had no doubt from that day on. That's not to say I didn't fall away.
Sure.
I did. But I will never forget that.
Yeah.
It was profound.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It
amazing.
was.
I'm going to sit in that for a second. That's got to be unnerving, and then at the same time, very soothing, very
Reassuring.
reassuring. Yeah, peace-filling.
Yes.
That's awesome. Did you ever tell your parents about it?
Oh, I think I did years later.
Yeah.
Not at the time.
Yeah. Wow. If you could name one chapter of your life you're most grateful for, which would it be and why? That's a very difficult question. It probably shouldn't have asked it in that way. Maybe name a few seasons of your life that you're most thankful for.
Well, when I was Mrs. Heiser, I was thankful for my husband
Mm-hmm.
and my family. And I still am.
Mm-hmm.
When I was Mrs. Testrake, my horizons were broadened beyond means. At one point, after the hijack, Mission Aviation, which is a flying mission group,
Mm-hmm.
contacted John, and they wanted him to be their spokesman. And would he be interested in going on the mission field and taking the place of those missionaries that were stationed in Africa and Indonesia, around the world, relieving them for 6 weeks while they took R&R.
Okay.
And that's what we did.
Wow.
We did it for 2 years, off and on, not a steady diet of that. But it was very eye-opening and exciting, and just to take over, for instance, what they were doing.
Yeah, we didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about that hijacking, so I'm afraid people may not know the particulars of that. Can we maybe go back just a bit? So he was on flight 847.
Oh, yes.
And he was hijacked in the Middle East for 17 days, you said.
That's correct.
And if you read his book, he was flying back and forth and all over the place between different deals because of the political unrest at the time with the Hezbollah.
Yes.
And, they were using him as both a bargaining chip and a technician for getting them back and forth and flying him around and whatnot, right? Like, because the plane and they couldn't fly it.
Right.
Right.
The Hezbollah wanted, I think it was 400 of their prisoners released. I'm not even sure now, Chris. It's been 40 years.
Yeah. Oh, it's a minute ago.
They wanted their prisoners released. Somebody was holding them.
Right.
And what better hostage than an American pilot?
Yeah. And the hostages. I mean, there was 50 or 60 some other people who were on that plane.
In the beginning. Yes.
Yeah, they kind of let a bunch of people go. One person tragically lost his life in that episode.
Yes.
But,
yes, he did.
I mean, and as far as as bad as it could have been, most returned, and they were able to actually even recover the plane many months later.
Yes, Rob.
But you were home. You were here, and you were over there first, and then you flew back here, and I mean, it was just kind of a deal. So I mean, you were pilot's wife at the time, trying to just find out what was going on.
We were. We had taken John had taken. I think it was a 6-month assignment in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the time, I can't speak for those today, but at the time it was every pilot's dream to fly international.
Sure.
And he was not senior enough to get those international flights from like New York to London.
Mm-hmm.
But this program opened up to fly around Europe, be based in Europe and fly European routes. Well, that was the next best thing.
Yeah.
And so he took that. In June, we were based in Rome, and he flew out of Rome to 4 cities, Athens, Cairo, Tel Aviv, and Rome. So I went with him, and we saw all the cities and did all the things. And it was uneventful.
Yeah.
Then we came home for about 10 days, went back in June to Athens. That's where he was based. And he flew a week or so, and then he had this flight from Athens to Tel Aviv the morning of the hijack. And he said, and I went with him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He said, this was an early flight. And he said, I'm going to be back through here about noon. Why don't you be at the airport and go with me to Tel Aviv, and we'll overnight there.
Yeah. And you guys were getting ready to do a big anniversary trip or something like that, right?
Yes, it was going to be our anniversary at the end of this trip.
Yeah.
And we planned, we were going to do the Greek islands.
Oh, brilliant.
So I went, I had planned to meet him that day. But in the middle of the morning, I got a call from Captain Sean Shattuck, who was another TWA crew member. There were about 17 of us, I think, at the hotel. And he said, Phyllis, this Captain Shattuck, I think he said, have you heard about the hijack? And I said, what hijack? He said, I'll be right to your room.
Yeah.
So he came and informed me what had happened, and I couldn't even believe it, Chris. This is something that happened to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I was flabbergasted. So
you're worried, you're in a foreign country.
Absolutely didn't speak Greek.
Yeah.
And they had the TV on, and I could see all that was going on, but I couldn't understand a word. And then the reporters, oh my goodness, the reporters, they were everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting a statement from Captain's wife.
It's national news, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a long time, and you were over there fighting with reporters trying to go from here and there. And
honestly, it got so bad that we had to change hotels.
Mm-hmm.
The whole crew was at Hilton, which
Mm-hmm.
is where we mostly stayed. But they found a hotel that was rather secluded and had security gates, so they knew who was coming in.
Yeah.
So we moved to that hotel. And we were there 2 or 3 days. Honestly, I didn't know what to do, Chris.
Yeah.
I finally made my first international call because we didn't have cell phones back then. I'd never called international. It was kind of a rigmarole. But I did that. I called Brian Guy, and my pastor,
Mm-hmm.
and he prayed with me and kind of calm me down.
Mm-hmm.
But I was overwrought. So I stayed there about, I think, 5-6 days in Athens.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Captain Shattuck said, now, Phyllis, you know that John's probably not going to return here. He didn't say not return at all.
Right.
So he said it might be best if you went home and we keep in touch.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know how long it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It had already been 5 or 6 days. So I came home to the States.
Back here to Richmond?
No, I stayed with John's brother who lived in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and his wife. They had been in Tel Aviv, which was kind of ironic. We were going to visit with them in Tel Aviv, but after this hijack, they came home to the States as well.
Mm.
So I stayed at their house 2 or 3 days, thinking it might be over and I would be close to New York and I could fly back over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that didn't happen. So I flew home to Kansas City and had somebody pick me up, and I didn't realize my own home was swarming with satellite TV things mounted on trucks.
More reporters.
And reporters. But they sneaked me in. I laid down in the back seat, and they drove into the garage and put the door down. So I was just safely inside the house. But they were everywhere and roaming all over the farm, knocking on the door. And I just couldn't take it. I wrote a note on a recipe card, and I said something like, "Please respect our privacy." I'm not sure what else I said on the note, but anyway, I stuck it on the front door after dark. And the next day, they have those powerful cameras, and they zoomed in on that note, and it was on the news that night. Mrs. Testrake did not want to be disturbed.
Yeah. Well, that's not the thing that you want to focus on, right? I mean, you want to think about, things that are important, right? You don't need to be bothering with all of that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I say, well, fast forward there. He was able to successfully make it out of this situation.
Yes.
And y'all were reunited, and the rest is history. But that paved the way for this ministry that you're now talking about there with with the Missionary Aviation Fellowship.
Yes.
Mission Aviation Fellowship. And so you were going around and 6 weeks at a time relieving people who were getting their R&R. And I mean, that was a wonderful platform to share your testimony and to talk with those in other places. But you've seen the world through that as well, right?
I have.
Amazing.
One of our most rewarding things on that trip, after the missionary trips were over, we did it. Not quite 2 years, I guess. Then Mission Aviation set up a tour across Canada. I've never been clear across Canada before. They set up a tour, and we spoke about Mission Aviation and the things they did. But the drawing card was the hijack.
Yeah.
Because it was known worldwide.
Yeah, everybody knew it. He was famous for it, and yeah, that's the type of person you want to represent your organization.
So every meeting we went to, every dinner when John was the speaker and I was as well, they wanted to hear about the hijack. And Mission Aviation, that's fine.
Yeah.
So we did that at the end. At one of the meetings, not in Canada, but in the United States, it's the Manhattan Flying Club. It's, I think at the time they had about 500 members, and they had a luncheon, and they asked John to speak, and me as well. I only did 10 minutes of his 40-minute speech, but Elizabeth Dole, Senator Dole, was there. And afterwards, she said, "Phyllis, you did such a great job. You realize, of course, when you take the stage, you own it. You own the stage." And that was just such a word of encouragement for me.
Most definitely. Yeah. Especially from a person like her.
Yes, she was very vocal, very outspoken. Yes.
Sure. Wow. So, I mean, that's a tremendous time in your life.
Yes, it was.
Kind of circling back to the question of, different seasons of your life that were special and whatnot. Did you have others?
Oh, Chris. There were just
probably too many to count.
So many things.
Yeah.
That was special.
Yeah.
Meeting and marrying John Lyon. I'm sorry, John Lyon. That was special too. That was kind of the grandmother years. And we had a quiet life, but John was very spontaneous. I mean, we loved oysters.
Oh, really?
And you can't really get fried oysters around here, but he'd say, I think we need an oyster trip. And we'd get in the car and go to North Carolina or South Carolina where we could get oyster. Well, you can do those things when you're retired.
Is that the way you like to eat them, fried? Did you ever eat them raw?
Yes. No.
No. You're like,
I'm not a raw person.
That's not for me, but you liked them fried.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, they're delicious.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so for women reading your story, or just we're sitting here kind of hearing about your experiences, maybe especially those navigating marriage, fear, or particular calling in their life.
Yeah.
What encouragement would you offer them?
Well, my standby thing is being submissive to your husband. I think it's so necessary. And you don't have to be a dish rag. You can stand up for what you believe, but doing what pleases your husband, I think, is so important. And then one of the things that John Testrake said on the airplane has stuck with me my whole life. He was being interviewed out the cockpit window when they were finally on the ground in Beirut. And the reporters asked, I don't know what they asked him really, but he said, and it has always stuck with me, God has been with us so far. He will be with us to the end.
Oh, wow. That's profound.
It is. It's kind of my life standard.
Yeah, that would be very encouraging for a young woman to hear. And those navigating its difficulties and trials and wonderful times. Yeah.
All of it.
What do you pray that readers take away most from sharing your Life in Times booklet?
Well,
I know you wrote it for your kids.
I did.
But people like me have read it, and others have recommended it to me that were outside of your family.
Right. I gave it to a few people at church, and I guess it traveled. I don't know.
So what would you hope others who are looking at that book, what they would take away from it?
Oh, the same thing, Chris. Yeah. God's been with us. He's been with me since that day I was 17 and gave my heart to him.
It's beautiful. All right. Any next stories God is writing in your life? What's ahead for you?
Oh, Chris, I don't have any next stories. I think I'm just kind of floating along. I'm in the twilight years.
Well, maybe. When I got here, I can edit this out if you prefer, but you were talking about how you have grandchildren who still want to do book club with Grandma.
They do.
So I think that's just super special that you've got people around you who still want to be with you, and you're enjoying those relationships in this season.
I have found I have a very busy life, just with children and grandchildren in church.
That's beautiful. Well, I thank you so much for taking a few minutes to chat with me. You don't disappoint. This has been a wonderful time with you, and I've learned so much. Has there been anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about while we're here?
I think we covered pretty much
covered
all of
a lot of it. We covered a lot of it. Yeah. As much as we can in an hour and a half. Yeah. So thank you so much once again. I really do appreciate you letting a stranger into your home and getting to know me and me getting to know you. It's really been
a pleasure to get to know you.
It's really been a privilege and a pleasure to get to know you too. All right, everybody. This has been the Son of the Law podcast. Have a great day.